Hi chums. Okay, what we have here is a Jet lathe. It's a Jet 1442, which means it has a 14-inch swing and a 42-inch bed length between centres. Now, I wanted to upgrade my lathe because of a number of issues which I'll talk about now, but finance came into it. The lathe I would really love is the Jet 3520B, or 3520B, yeah, which is the Powermatic lathe. But you're talking big money, like maybe over $5,000, you know, nearly £3,000. Now, for me to change up, this lathe costs about £1,000 now, with $1,600. For me to change up to that lathe is going to cost me around about $4,000. and wasn't going to get, well, say 3.5, so a couple of £1,000. And I thought to myself, I've got a really good lathe here. It's very accurate. I know it inside out, and it's dependable. Structurally it is 100%, so if I were to change the motor on this lathe to give me a more powerful lathe, I could then maybe save a few pounds. So there was a transformation made, and if anybody's looking at the front, you'll see that the on-off switch is gone. The speed selector, where are we at, has gone. Now there's an issue here. Whenever you're using, that's where it normally stood, in that position, but whenever you had it in that position, my left elbow and arm kept hitting it. I phoned Jet about this to see was there any sort of way around this to moving this bit of thing about, and they went, it's a design fault and we're trying to work on it now. So those bits are now obsolete. As you can see, those holes are filled in, and at the back we have a 3-phase motor. Now I'll try and get onto the wee plate to let you see it there. Where's see? There we are. And that's a 1.5 horsepower motor. The difference in that and the other single phase motor is that that one runs at 1390 RPM and the single phase ran at 1400 RPM. And then that's all controlled by an inverter up here, and that inverts the phases from single phase to 3-phase. This cost £120, which is about $200. It's now, in the last couple of days, my friend Kieran told me that this is now £300 plus VAT. So you're talking about nearly £400. What's that there? Nearly $650 for that now. That is considered to be the strong man of inverters. It's a super little article and very tough and reliable. The motor here cost about £110, which is just about $180. So all in, I reckon it has cost me around about $500, about less than £300 to do the upgrade. And what we have now is the inverter, 3-phase motor, and what we did here was we took out the entire Kieran took out the entire Reeves drive system. Reeves drives works on a system, it's called a scooter drive, my engineering friends call it, and it works on a system whereby you've got 2 pulleys. You've got a pulley here and a pulley back here, a set off, and when this pulley is open and small, this one's big, so the lathe goes slow. When this one here is closed and increases in diameter, this one's small at this side, where's my finger, there, so it makes the lathe go faster, and the speed is controlled by moving this handle about. Now the problem with it is it's a lot of maintenance involved in the Reeves drive, and I've got the very best greases and graphite greases and everything off my mates, especially Kieran, and they do a great job for a while, but the dust still gets in. You're still working at it. It's not a big job, but it's a constant job, and it's also, the Reeves drives is noisy because there's so many moving parts in it. It just gets noisy. Now the other issue that I found in winter time especially was that the handle that went here and the linking bars, they tend to freeze up and get very stiff and get sticky, and it almost feels like you're about to break them when you're moving them sometimes. And then you start the greasing again, and a couple of weeks later it's back to where it was. So now I've got speed control up here and nothing to worry about here, and this is also obsolete because that locked against the pulley in here, which is now gone. I'll turn this round in a minute, but I want to show you it going first. So this is where we are. There's our run button there. So we're running now, and then we can get our speed up, and you can see, and nice and quiet. That is a lot quieter than it was before, and it just takes a while to bring itself up to power. So that's it now, running at full speed. Yeah, that's full speed. Now what I'll do is I'll put the camera onto a tripod, and I'll show you the speed actually been registered here. What do we see now? Right, there's our speed machine, right, and we'll test on this. Right, 2285. The original top speed of that was 2,500. So that's pretty good. I'm really so that's not bad. I would very seldom use that except for polishing. But the big deal here is that I can reduce the speed as I want. So I'm going to reach over here and do two things at once. I'll get that back in the screen again. So if I just start reducing the speed, you'll see the speed going down now. And that's the beauty of the thing. That's what I wanted. I wanted variable speed. Now, you see it just getting slower and slower. And I've got it right down now. Now, normally I'd turn in around about that speed, around about 900 to 1200. So still have plenty of room for manoeuvre on that. So I don't need to go any faster in terms of top speed. And if I want to do top speed, I've got a wee lathe sitting over the side here that goes 3,800. Now, the lowest speed in this was 370 before. So now I can get that down to, it's running nicely. You see there's 170. I'm going to click and come from the I think the chuck's making that noise here. So I'll just stop it. So you can see I've got the variable speed that I wanted. Okay, now what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take these things off, and I want to move it. I'm going to turn the headstock around and let you see what we did inside. I keep saying we, but actually the work was done by Kieran, my engineer friend. So I'll show you what he did here. Now wait till we see the best way to do this. I'll just move the camera to here for a moment, and then lift it up, right, and then I'll turn this round. I'm just going to turn this off so I don't get the crap knocked out of me. That's actually as a surge protector for the inverter, about $7 or $8, and it's worth getting when you see what the amount of protection you're going to get. I don't want to have to replace my wee inverter. Right, just turn this boy around here to show you the inside part. Oh, did a good job on that now. You have to be careful you don't get your fingers caught here, or your cables caught. See, everything goes wrong when you're doing something on live TV. Don't work with children and lathes. Right, I'm going to bring that wee light over here, and that will maybe help with the. Yeah, that's pretty good actually. Right, I'm going to take the camera off again so that I can see what I'm looking at. Okay, the engineers among you and the wood turners, that's a 5-inch pulley now, which is bigger than the Reeves drive pulley, but it had to be because this is slightly bigger diameter. That pulley there is a slightly bigger diameter than the top pulleys when they were open. It's not much in it, but that's about 3-inch pulley. So it's actually 38 mil when it's measured dead accurately when it's into the center of the pulley. So that gives me basically keeps the speed the same. Now what I could do is I could put a 6-inch pulley on here to get more speed at that end, but it's a trade-off. If I do that, I lose torque at low speed, so that's the issue. The belt looks as if it's kind of slack, but it's not slack at all. That is more than ample. We tried to stop the lathe last night, and with our gloves on, we tried to stop it here, we couldn't. I was taking really heavy cuts with a big roughing gouge. heavier than I'd ever taken before, and I couldn't stop the lathe or even slow it down. So the torque's there, and that's what I want as well. So as you can see, it's a very simple business now, and you can see in here now, all the guts are gone. All the Reeves drive stuff is all away. There's nothing left. So it just makes it just 2 pulleys, there and there. And then while we were at it, Kieran took the headstock, had to take a headstock spindle out, and then he had to cut a new keyway. You can see the keyway, the keyway along here. You see, along there. He had to cut a new keyway to suit that pulley. So when he had the headstock spindle out, he got 2 new bearings. And this is a bit of an annoying thing. The bearings were just crappy, cheap bearings from the original bearings that were in it. And okay, this is keeping costs down. But if I went in to buy a Jet lathe and they said to me, you know, we're going to charge you £10 more or $10 more for these 2 really super bearings that we're putting in now, do you mind? I'd be more than willing to pay that extra £10 or $10 or $20 to get the super bearings, because they're not that much dearer, you know. And why not put them in at the start and just have a really good running lathe for a long number of years without having to do any maintenance? So that's that we gripe over. So that's basically it. 1 pulley there and 1 pulley there, and everything's nice and tight and secure now. The other thing we had to do was to make a spacer here. So we used, where we are, we used Corian, which is the stuff for desktops or countertops, and it's very dense and very stable, and it's super stuff for a job like that. So if I can get this round without wrecking the show, let's see, it's easy to get your fingers caught when you're doing this. That's us now. So that's where we are. And then I put, while I was doing my pimping, I put a U handle there, and I've got a U handle on there as well. It might look silly. Now, see, when you're making these handles, make them slightly oversized by about 1 mil, and then what you can do is you can just put insulating tape in there, because it means if they move, it's not going to cause any problems. And you can just put a bit of insulating tape in to tighten them, and it allows them to move a wee bit, because the temperature and humidity changes out here all the time. So it's not critical, you can just build them up with tape. But what it does is it gives you something warm to hold when you're moving the stuff about, and actually just a wee bit longer and a bit bigger makes it easier to move the stuff, but it keeps the cold off your hands, which is unpleasant in the winter time. So that's it. There are 3 people I need to thank here. First one's Danny, who did the electrics, and that feed there is a dedicated feed right from the front of the house, and it's on its own trip and everything. So thank you, Danny, for that. The other person is Andy Davis by the Sea, who gave me a huge amount of help over the actual electrics and what we need done, and that was super. So thank you, Andy. And the other person is my friend Kieran, who did all the engineering and the work on this and did a great job. I'm absolutely delighted with the way it's running, and I couldn't be happier. Actually today I just made, those are the first 2 things I made with it today, just to fill those holes in. So I'm really pleased, it's working beautifully. And then Kieran, just being such a perfectionist and all the rest of it, he had to cut the cover here. He had to cut the cover to make it fit at the back here. Now it's just a wee tiny bit of wee bit more cutting I have to do on it today just to make it fit, because I will cover this in. It's too dangerous sitting lying open like that. And he had to cut the cover, and he was really worried that he cut through the Jet. You can see the J there of Jet and the E and the rest gone. So that we would all know what it was and I could put it on YouTube nicely, he wrote the stuff on for me, and there we have it. Look, isn't this lovely? There you are. 3-phase Delta Jet. It's like, how could you go wrong with lovely, like, CNC type printing like that there? It's not just gorgeous. So there you are now. So once again, Danny, Andy, and especially Kieran, thank you very much. All the best now. Bye bye.